Warriors girls basketball team going into the Section 3 Class AA championship. And I am here with, for the first time, assistant coach Holly Sleeth. Holly, how are you?
Good, how are you?
And somebody who's been on the show once or twice over the last decade. Now, one of the mainstays that I have here, Mr. Mike Wheeler of the Liverpool girls basketball team, their head coach. So, how are you, Coach?
I'm great. Thanks for having us, Dan.
Absolutely. I will say this to you, because I know we do a lot on audio, but we've done some on video. I don't think your hair's ever looked better. I don't know what the team's saying. I think you got good hair today.
You combed it through today.
I got the comb today.
Yeah, that's not me being, any other way. I mean that. You got good hair today. You got the Italian hair today. That's what I like.
Thank you.
So, Holly, I'm going to start with you,
Okay.
since it's your first time here, and you said only ask the easy ones. So, I want you to break down. No, I'm just kidding. So, bring me into this season, and from the beginning, because I had you all out here at Avicollis at the beginning of the season, and we got to discuss what we were hoping would happen. Why do you think it's happened? Why is this team successful?
I think we just have so much athletics. They're so athletic, our team. So even if we've had a bad practice, we're able to just kind of, when it's game time, and we just go hard and we end up pulling through with the games.
So what is it in practice that you feel, like you said, when it's practice, game time, it's game time. What's happening in practice that is getting you to a point where you have that laser focus?
We do a lot of competitive stuff in practice. We're always a team versus a team, and if you lose, you're doing sprints. So no one ever wants to do sprints. So they really go hard at practice, and it just gets them ready for that game time because you practice like you play. So if you're going to practice lazy, then you'll be lazy in the game. But once you practice hard, you'll be playing hard in the game.
You like that I said laser focus?
Yeah.
OCC Laser, former women's basketball head coach. You're heading back to OCC, a digs that you're familiar with for this championship game. What's it going to be like for you both to head back there? And I'm going to start with you, Mike.
I think it's special, and to be doing this for so long, and I've had so many players. There's several players play for me from Liverpool. One being my assistant coach, and now we always call it a big circle. It always comes back around, and that her younger sisters. I get an opportunity to coach her sister, and one of the former head coach back in 2007, where the last sectional champs were. What I used with the girls back in early November was this can be a special year. We sat here, talked about it, but to go back around and to get an opportunity to win a sectional title with Liverpool on OCC's court is kind of neat. And had an opportunity to use my old locker room last week, and everything is just it was kind of neat.
Holly, for you, for those that don't know the unique connection here to Mr. Wheeler, share the first moment that you connected with Mike to where you are now, because it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, so I was actually in my semifinal game in high school for Liverpool, and we played on that big court. And I had no interest in coming to OCC, but he reached out to me after the game, and he loved the way I played. He wanted me so badly, and it kind of just, that relationship we built was so strong from the beginning. And then I talked to some girls that played for him, and they convinced me. I mean, it was probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. I loved OCC. I loved the family that I built there. And then once I graduated from there, when he started coaching last year, he said I was the first person that came to mind to help him out on JV. And then when he moved up to varsity, I just stuck by his side.
Mike, why do you think Holly said yes 3 times to you?
I don't want to say typical woman, but begging, No, she is. That's definitely. I hope. Hopefully, no one. That's no offense to. I think that was just a joke.
In 2023, folks, just so you know, we do it a lot on WakeUpCall. There's a thing called joking, and it is okay, and people should laugh. And if you go to a comedy show to get mad at people, you should just go home and go back to your bunker, is how I feel.
Yeah, and hopefully my wife doesn't hear that comedy, because she'll kill me when I get home. We
love Mrs. Wheeler.
Yeah, we do love
this
her.
broadcast is probably brought to you by Mrs. Wheeler. So
yes. I just think the fact that I liked how everything played out. You know, I was given the opportunity to coach at Liverpool, and just knowing that Holly was just finishing up her senior year in college. I needed an assistant coach. What better ask somebody that actually knows a lot about my program and what I like to do.
Yeah.
And you know, it just worked well. And so I was, you know, reached out and I said, what's your thoughts? And you know, she had a lot of stuff going on, but I think she was extremely interested and wanted to get into coaching. And I was just I'm so glad that she took me up on that offer. And I asked 3 times.
So, Holly, what is it about Mike that makes you want to not only play for him, but coach with him? What does he bring to the table that you want to be a part of?
Honestly, just his dedication. Like, he loves his girls. He's always looking out for them. He always has their back. And basketball-wise, the way he plays, just fast, intense. And that's how I always liked to play. I was always a defender. I was less of a scorer, honestly, but I was defending. We were quick. We were running, pushing the ball, and that's how he loves to play. So that's why I like playing like that.
And we brought up the fact that also unique that he coached you and now he's coaching your sister.
Yeah.
And the first time I came to practice and didn't know right away, I looked at 2 faces and went, so that's almost the same person. So what can you say about getting to coach your own sister?
Yeah, so she grew up watching me play for all those years because I'm 8 years older than her. So she came to all of my games, all of my tournaments. She was a trooper. But so as soon as it was time for me to kind of retire from basketball, it was her coming up, and now I'm going to all of her basketball tournaments, and now I'm even at her practices now. So I got a lot going on, but you can definitely see the comparison between me and her. She does a lot of things that I was doing on the court. She's very selfless, great defender, is always trying to lead the team and make smart decisions. So it's good.
Is it a fair payback now that you have to go to all of her things?
Yes, it's fine. I enjoy it.
Well, you've both spoken highly about each other in this Liverpool girls basketball special for the Warriors as we head into the Section 3 Class AA championship game and an opportunity to raise a banner for the first time since 2007. Wake Up Call is on site on location at Avicollis every single month on 7839 Oswego Road, right down the road from Liverpool High School in Liverpool. Tell me something good about each other. You've already said really nice things, but give me something else, maybe about personality or maybe something we don't know. Wheels, about Holly.
The joking, comment I said before about, we go back and forth all the time, and she's just I think that's what makes us work well together. And I think in working and coaching together, and it's great to have that type of relationship where you can have fun, joke around, but then at the other time you can dial it up and be serious and focus on the bigger tasks at hand. And I think that's really one of the great personality traits that she has.
Holly, about Coach?
I would just say his dedication to his relationships, because like I said, he cares for his players, but I was one of those players, so I've had that relationship with him ever since. I mean, he calls me probably every day at least once or twice. And yes, it's mostly about basketball, but a lot of times it's just about how I'm doing with my job, coaching, school, because like you said, I have a lot going on, so there's a lot to talk about. So just him being there for me is a big thing.
Appreciate that. Before we get into rapid fire, Coach, this is your first year with this program for varsity. Why have you and your staff been able, in your opinion, to get the most out of these players to the point where we're 19-3 and looking at a championship?
I think it's, we throw the word around a lot about believing and believe in what we do. We always, I had my philosophy at OCC was, transition, run, pressure the basketball, play fast. And I just implemented it here at Liverpool. I wanted to bring what I did there and what was successful there to Liverpool, and to teach the girls and the team what we did and what I did and what I believe in. And each and every one of them has bought into the process. And, that's why we're 19-3. It takes a lot. We play a 1-3-1 defense that is very hard to teach, especially a high school varsity girls team. But when you have athletes and you have basketball players that compete and work hard and run, and that's all they do for 32 minutes is they run to spots on the floor. They trap all over the place. We make it really difficult for other opposing teams' offenses to score on us. And I think that's really to get them to believe in what I like to do and what I taught them to do is a great thing. And a lot of credit goes to them for buying in and accepting that fact.
Holly, this team has had an incredible run up to this point, but you're not done. What's been the greatest progression when you look at the beginning of the season? Really, we sat here at the beginning of the season, so from the beginning to now, what have you been happiest about when we look at that day one to today?
I think I want to call it kind of a comeback in a way, because when we lost to Henniger, that was a dagger that kind of killed us for a sec there, but we came back the next week, we worked hard, and then ever since we've had really successful games. Clearly we've been winning, so I think that was just an upset, obviously, but I don't know, right?
No, I agree,
Yeah.
110%. I think that was a character builder for us. We talked about what type of basketball team we were going to be after that, how we were going to respond. We've rattled off 6 in a row, and we've really done it pretty convincingly. And I think that's, again, to what we do in practice and what we turn around and do in games. And they have to make sure we preach 32 minutes of effort. Effort's a huge thing with us, because you can't play the way we do without effort and energy. And we usually talk, or we have a word of the day before we start practice, and I give all the girls a chance each day to come up with a word, and we try not to use the same word over and over again, but effort, energy is one of the big words we use, because that's what we are, and that's what we want to be all the time.
Holly, I've joked with Wales about this, but also very serious. The day that he called me up, I think I was actually driving by Avicollis, and he called me and he said, "Just so you know, I'm going to step away from coaching." And I said to him, "Okay, but I fully expect that that's not going to last forever."
You mean 3 years ago?
Yeah,
now?
when he stepped away
From OCC?
for about 15 minutes. And I remember saying to Coach, and you remember, I said, "Well, obviously I'm proud, I'm happy for him, support him, but I didn't think he was done." And I said, "I'll see you when you get back." Mm-hmm. And then it felt like almost immediately he came back. Are you surprised at all that he did spend a season going to the hockey games, right, for the boys and all that, and yet coaching just never leaves this guy?
Yeah. No, I'm not surprised. The opportunity kind of did fall right into his hands. I don't know if you've heard the story of how he got asked, but he wasn't planning on it. And then one day he sees the varsity coach, Aaron Schrock, and she's like, "Please be my coach. Please coach with me." And he was like, "Heck yeah." And that's how it went.
So with that being said, we're going to jump into rapid fire.
Okay.
Wheels and I have done this for 10 years now. Mm-hmm. So, Holly, I'm going to let you start. You can ask me a question.
Oh, God, I don't even think I thought of a question.
It's rapid fire. It's whatever you think in the moment.
Okay. If you won the lottery, what would be the first thing you'd buy or do or whatever?
I would...
The Mega Million.
Okay, fair enough. I would basically set up my parents for the rest of their lives. Because when I started my company with literally, and this is not a joke, 27 cents in my pocket and $103 in my bank account, living with my mother and taking care of her because she had fallen, my parents were there in many, many ways. So I would set them up for the rest of their lives to be able to have all the care and comfort that they need to spend every day until they go back home being happy. I want to make sure they were taken care of. That would be my first, that would be the only thing on my mind. All right, Holly. We call Mike Wheels. Do you have a nickname?
No. He used to he used to have a nickname for me. He would call me Sleether. Yeah, Sleether.
Sleether? All right.
Yeah. He would scream it, Sleether!
Does it stick now or
He
no?
hasn't. No, he doesn't really say it anymore.
No more
It was when
Sleether.
I was playing for him, he would call me.
Okay.
Quick way to get a hold of her.
All right, Sleether.
Gotcha.
I like it. It works. Coach, go ahead.
If you weren't doing this as a profession, what would be your other choice of work?
It's a bunch of things that I want to do. I've gotten to kind of implement them in different ways. I have been in a major motion picture as an extra. I would like to actually act. I would like to direct. And I would really like to screenwrite. I love going to the movies and letting somebody take me to a place they create. I want to be the one that creates that. I want to be the one that gets you to cry, gets you to laugh, gets you to think, gets you to believe what's on the screen and talk about it afterwards with your friends and family. So I would love to do that. And something that I put into my shows all the time, and I put it in tonight, and it's always with me, and my friends know this about me to a T. One of the things I love more than most things is making people laugh. So stand-up comedy is definitely there, and I think we talked about this, Wheels, but my ex-girlfriends have given me enough material to round this world a few times.
Yep.
So, yeah. I'm excited for it. I don't know if they are, but I don't use names, so
Nope.
I do keep people safe. All right, Wheels. All right. What's your favorite memory of the last 10 years that you and I have been around each other?
You know, we've had, a lot of memories, with conversations and,
Yeah.
I'd probably have to say, the conversation about, a couple of years back when, I'd give you a call and let you know that I decided to retire from coaching and, and that would probably be something that was really close to my heart and a tough decision I had to make, and sharing that with you and other people is a great memory that I won't forget. And now it's all null and void.
Yeah. Well, it was it was a total honor that you called me. You've always been first to get to me, and there's been over 4,000 people on the show, and I mean this from my heart. You know this. There's a way that you treat me that I can't say a lot of people do, and so I'll follow you where you want to be the world's greatest janitor. I'll be mopping right next to you.
Appreciate that.
All right, Holly, give me one more.
Oh. Is there any teacher or mentor that had the biggest impact on you while you were in school
So easy.
that you remember?
Miss Goulet had lunch or had a brunch with her a few months ago. And I told her, so she's my religion teacher and a former nun. And I said, can I tell my jokes if I talk about relationship, this and that? And she leaned in and she goes, God created the stuff that's in this world for a reason. Go have fun. And I said my first Netflix special will be brought to you by my religion teacher, Miss Goulet. So Miss Goulet, Mr. DeSantis, who was my Feenie, my Boy Meets World reference. Mrs. Kuno, my third grade teacher, my fifth grade teacher, Mrs. Jacks, they follow my work to this day. And when your third and fifth grade teacher follow your work, write message to you and tell you that they're proud of you, it genuinely makes you feel like they've known you almost your entire life. And Mr. D, it makes you feel like you're doing something good in the world when the people that knew you when you were like 8 years old are proud of you now, which is pretty special. So I have many, but I would count them. Mr. Sacco. There's there's so many that I would say are really special to me. Miss Quilty, I'll never forget what she said to me. She was my high school counselor. And high school, I didn't like high school. It wasn't fun for me. Grades were fine. I didn't really like the cliques and stuff. And she said to me, you know what's crazy? She said, it's sad, but like it'll pay out. Like down the road, you'll be fine. She said, you're the dark horse of this class. And nobody knows it now, but they're going to know it. And I will always love her for that. So I could probably go on because there's so many of them. All right, Mike, what do you got? Last one.
Do you see yourself anywhere else? I know family. A lot of people have family all over the place in the country and stuff like that. But do you see yourself in another state besides New York, or would you rather see yourself somewhere else in the future, or would you see yourself born and raised and following through your years, finishing your life pretty much here in New York?
I never say never because I didn't know I was going to come back here. So I have the blessing, and I said this today, I have a really cool life that I get to live 20 minutes from where I grew up. My parents are here, but I get to travel the world and build in my hometown. My second hub of the show, we do so much work with the show, we've connected with the show, built partnerships down there, is Florida. So I get to be where I grew up and be in the city that's had my back, and then I also get to be in Florida. So, I mean, I don't know how you could have a better life than being in your hometown and then going back and forth to Florida and then traveling the world. So I have a perfect scenario, and God has given me a life that if it ended today, I would have been overblessed by 3 lifetimes. And I always say to God, just because I'm overblessed doesn't mean I want to give it back. But I definitely appreciate the fact that I get to build here in my community, and I get to go down and see palm trees once every month or a couple months.
That's awesome.
My last one for you, Mike. If you could impart, you've coached a lot of players, Holly included, and her sister. What do you think is the greatest message you could give to somebody here in 2023? If you could only say one thing to a room full of 1 million people, what would be your words of wisdom?
Many different ages.
Yeah, anybody.
Well, good one. I think where I would have to start is, I'm a family guy, and, I have a daughter and 3 young boys. So just having a family and them being young, all I would say is, you have to live life till its fullest, but you also have to be true to yourself in a way where enjoy life, work hard. And it's one thing I preach to the boys is, work hard, and don't take things for granted. Because I always, a big saying, you never want to think about anything bad, but nowadays you just don't know when your next heartbeat's going to be, or, so you make sure you tell people you love them that are close to you, and you always make sure that they know that, because you just never know. So, live life and work hard would be the 2 key components that I would let everybody know.
Appreciate that. For head coach Mike Wheeler, for Holly Sleeth,
Yeah.
and the assistant coach here for Liverpool Warriors girls basketball as they get set for the opportunity to win a championship and bring some more greatness to our community. We appreciate you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora during our normal scheduled broadcast in the morning, Monday through Friday from 9 to 11 a.m. And, of course, every time we're at Avicollis with Liverpool Warriors Athletics. Holly, Mike, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
We'll
for
talk with you all soon. Have a fantastic night, and you have a place to be this weekend.